Matt Reeves reveals why he passed on Ben Affleck's script for The Batman. Does he? Well, let's see. So here we are at Superhero Hype, talking about this, what was it, Hollywood Reporter or something? I can't even remember where he did the interview, and I don't care. So anyway, he goes, nearly a decade ago, Ben Affleck was cast as Bruce Wayne Batman in the DC Extended Universe, and shortly thereafter, Affleck was slated to co-write, produce, direct, and star in The Batman. And there was also rumors he might even take over the Justice League, but well. However, Affleck ultimately stepped down from his role as director and eventually left the project altogether. But there was a time when director Matt Reeves was approached to helm Affleck's script before he went in on his own direction. In a new interview, Esquire, okay. Yeah, see, gotta read the article. Reeves revealed why he decided to reboot The Batman instead of following Affleck's vision. I read a script that was a totally valid take on the movie, noted Reeves. It was very action-driven. I'll bet, man, if you managed to get a whole movie and more of that a warehouse fight that he did in Batman vs. Superman. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we were denied that. Anyway, it was very deeply connected to the DCEU. Yeah, that was the deal. With other major characters from other movies and other comics popping up. I just knew that when I read it, this particular script was not the way I'd want to do it. I said, look, I think maybe I'm not the person for this, added Reeves. And I explained to them why I love this character. I told them that there have been so many great movies, but if I were to do this, I'd have to make it personal, so that I understood what I was going to do with it, so that I know where to put the camera. What? And so that I know what to tell the actors, so that I know what the story should be. This take, I told them, pointing at the script, is a totally valid and exciting take, continued Reeves. It's almost James Bondian, but it wasn't something that I quite related to. So you love Batman, do you? So, he continues, so what I'd love to do, if you're interested, I don't know, is I'd like to get involved and find a way to take the story and make it very, very personal. And get to the place I want him to be, to make it a Batman story and give him the arc and have the story rock him to his core. It wasn't going to be another origin story, not with Ben already in the character, but that's what I would do. So anyway, Ben Affleck dropped out of the leading role. Reeves decided to cast Robert Pattinson as the new Batman and set his story in The Dark Knight's second year. The Batman will also be completely separate from the DC Extended Universe. Yeah. Well, all right. But it will have some HBO spinoff series, The Penguin and Gotham PD, provided the movie performs well. So that's the plan, but it has to perform it. Odds are it will. It's Batman, but it's, boy, I tell you, a 3-hour movie in the theater, It's one thing when you're watching Justice League on HBO Max and you can pause it and all that. But anyway, but, we'll see. But still, why do they do things like this? You believe this? I mean, some aspects of it might be true, but there's elements it's not. Ben Affleck left on his own. He did not enjoy his time with all the disaster of the Justice League. Then there was his personal problems, which were very serious. His marriage had fallen apart. He was dealing with alcoholism, and he was in a bad place. And so he was just not up to the job for this or any other movie, for that matter. Even when they said, okay, he's not going to direct it, I don't think he was going to be involved. Now, there were rumors flying around that they would recast the role, where they would do a younger Batman, and he would bookend it with his older Batman, which was actually kind of an interesting take on it. But this template for what they're doing now with the Batman in his second year had floated around long before Reeves was even mentioned. Even before Affleck was cast, there was looking to do something like that for their Batman that would be in the DCEU. But they thought they needed a name actor and all this, an established star like Affleck was, and probably looking for their version of Robert Downey Jr., a name star coming in and playing a popular superhero. Well, actually, Batman is way more popular than Iron Man, but nevertheless, you get the idea, to be this sort of star that's going to give star presence to their shared universe idea, trying to catch up with Marvel and all that sort of stuff. Even the aspects of before Affleck of a younger Batman that would be a pretty boy character to go into the role and stuff like that. Apparently, even Tyler Hoechlin was considered before he became the TV Superman, and all of that. And but they changed course, and whether that was more Snyder's decision in that, or he approached it and they said, yeah, okay, let's do that, and he wanted to approach, because Snyder just wanted to do Dark Knight Returns, which they probably should have just done that. I don't know. But anyway, so some of these elements, so this is his justification for it, that it had to be this personal story and all of that. You could weave that within a Batman movie that's, it's very action oriented. Yeah, it's a superhero story. And all these elements that he's pushing on has already been dealt with. So it's not anything new. So is this going to be his rendition of his take on the Nolan ideas of Batman? It's a movie I've already seen. The thing about the Ben Affleck Batman is that this was the first time we actually saw one that was closer to the aspects and ideals of the comic book Batman, with the serious take on him, of course, where he lives in that world. There's all these other superheroes and Superman and all that. Even with that, you can still do your Batman movie that's just a Batman movie. He just lives in that world with a few nods here and there. Oh, the TV's running and it's mentioning Superman saving people from the airplane crash or whatever, and all that sort of stuff. But that's it. He doesn't interact with him or anything. He interacts with his characters. Maybe Catwoman shows up and Robin's in it. Who knows? All that type of stuff you could do, but this idea that the mystifying the shared universe, like it's so hard to deal with, and I can't. None of that is true. So I don't know why. You just says, yeah, I was brought on board. Ben Affleck was not going to direct, and then he dropped out totally. So then we changed course about this, that we weren't going to do a DCEU Batman, where we're just going to reboot Batman and try to start off a new trilogy of Batman films as just its own thing. So I think that's unfortunate. I don't know why they mystify the recasting. So that's why there was ideas that, this is going to take place 20 years ago or something like that, and it would be this younger Batman that would connect to Affleck's Batman later on, and he would just do it like that, even with Affleck not attached to it. And then, of course, the Flash film could time warp everything into where young Batman is just young Batman. Whoever they had cast, whether it's Pattinson or not. Originally, Nicholas Hoult was in the running. Apparently, the idea is that it was down to the two, and the studio wanted Pattinson. They wanted someone who's established, apparently. And Nicholas Hoult, who had been the young beast in the X-Men films, just didn't have the name recognition that Pattinson had. And that, apparently, is the deal. But that's just rumor. Maybe Reeves just wanted him all along, but Nicholas Hoult could probably almost kind of sort of pass as younger Ben Affleck and just say, he had some reconstructive surgery later because of all the beatings and stuff. That's why he looks a little different in his older years. Something like that. I don't know. But it's just these things, like, it's not that big of a deal, but it's trying to pretty it up, and this is my personal. I mean, it is. He took it over, and they came up with this. But the aspects of the story and the detective story, which is long overdue for Batman, which is the big positive for this film, it's not something that Reeves brought to it, and that's been around a while. So a lot of this is like, well, why couldn't they do it? Why couldn't they go forward? It's Bad Robot coming in, and they don't want any other projects. Now, their power is waning when Warner Brothers needs hits, and they can't just go with what Bad Robot wants, and they want all the DC characters under their umbrella. But instead, it says, no, you can have your DC movies, but the DCEU is going to continue. And so far, well, with the rumors of what they're going to do with it, sounds like they're going to ruin it and destroy it way beyond the flaws it's already had. But see, that's the conundrum that Warner Brothers is. Obviously, rebooting everything would have been an idea to go ahead and do when your initial push was a failure. But it wasn't completely a failure. Aside from the Snyder Cut stuff and all that, which was pretty huge, you had some successes. You had the first Wonder Woman, which was really great, and everybody loved it. People loved Henry Cavill in the role of Superman. They just thought he didn't get a good shot at it. And then, of course, Aquaman was a huge hit. And so now you got these successes within that version of those characters to suddenly just abandon everything. You're stuck with it. And that's the position they were in and all that. So how much of this is the real story? I don't know. But it is interesting where he's describing the script. So wish we could see that, because there's a lot of people saying, oh, it's really good, And so to abandon that, I don't know why you couldn't. It still had the character study of Batman within it, because you would have. I mean, it was supposed to be this revenge story that Deathstroke's hunting down Batman. And that whole story, there's a lot there to work on. So I don't really buy that I just can't do a movie like that. Oh, you're locking yourself out of a lot of potential other movies. So, I don't know. I don't really buy it that, it makes it impossible for me to pursue the takes that I want within the narrative of this Batman versus Deathstroke storyline and that sort of thing. But anyway, that's his take, officially anyway, on the origins of his take on the Batman. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.